Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Helen Sernett. She is a sleep and wellness enthusiast, founder and host of the Sleepless podcast. Welcome to the show, Helen.
Thank you so much, Ajay. It's so lovely to be here. I'm coming all the way from Seattle in Washington State, so it's actually almost my bedtime. So I'm very excited. This is my last thing on my docket, and then I'm gonna go right into my evening routine, and we can talk about why evening routines are so important.
Right, right. So coming from Seattle, it reminds me of that movie called Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes.
And so that losing up sleep was a bit different than what sleep we'll be talking about. And this is we'll be talking about the power of sleep to help one achieve their goals. So I want to understand, Helen, for the people, why are you losing over other people's sleep?
Well, I actually loved that movie, Sleepless in Seattle, and I have a friend here who is a sleep expert as well and a coach. And so she and I do a monthly live stream called Sleeping in Seattle. So we try to help you make sure that you're sleeping well. But there was a period of time where I was extremely sleepless. And I was an insomniac, so I couldn't fall asleep. I had so much trouble quieting my mind, and I was anxious, and I was dealing with a lot of work stress and mental health issues. And so I really was sleepless in Seattle, and I was unable to find the help that I needed. I hadn't met my friend yet. I hadn't explored the world of sleep experts, and I was trying to find something that would help me fall asleep, and I couldn't find it, so I decided to make a podcast that I would have liked to have had. So that's why I built the podcast that I built, and why I am so passionate about good sleep hygiene, because I suffered a lot when I was not getting good sleep.
What? Right, right, Helen. So I want to understand, why do some people have problem with sleep? The medical problem I understand, but in a general sense, why do some people have problems in sleep and some people just fall asleep like a log? How does it happen?
It's
Means
amazing
is
because
there a reason? And I
yes,
want to understand from you.
I would love to understand too. And there's a lot of questions about this. It it does not, once you get the physical obstacles out of the way. So as long as you're breathing okay and you're oxygenating all right, and you have a bed that supports you well, um, a lot of it is up to your brain and how your brain is functioning. It's a lot of your mental health and your mental wellness. And we tend to get a lot of advice to hustle really hard and work really hard, and that if we're really passionate about our work, it will be keeping us awake at night. And so there are a lot of cultural cues that sleep isn't as important as maybe diet and exercise. um so I think that that plays into the fact that we don't give sleep very much attention, whereas we might regularly buy new workout equipment or try new diets. Most of us don't think about our sleep. It's there or it's not, but we don't, I mean, really, if it's there, nobody wants to think about it. They just go to sleep when they go to sleep and they wake up. And I used to be that way. I used to lay down, head hit the pillow, I was out like a light, and slowly, over a period of a couple years, it became harder and harder. It's like I lost that skill, and I had to reteach myself how to wind down in the evenings and get the sleep, the restorative sleep that I needed, and the full duration of sleep that I needed.
Right, right. A lot of people believe. When I was in college, even I used to believe, but not in the same manner. But a lot of people, there's a saying, live hard, work hard, and sleep when you are dead.
Sleep when you're dead. I hate that expression, but I used to say it all the time.
Right. What would you like to say? A lot of people, when you are young, you don't realize that your body is full of energy. Your body can cope with a lot of things, stress at that point in time.
Mhm.
What would you like to tell, especially the younger generation, about, in case they are believers of this particular thought process? How do
Yes.
you look at it?
So I like to think of sleep now as equally, if not more important than diet and exercise. And I think of it as giving back life to myself. So it is a life giving practice to get good sleep. And if you're not attending to that practice of getting good sleep, you're kind of robbing yourself of good health later in life. It's kind of maybe morbid to think about, but there are good studies that have shown that getting enough sleep does help you age more gracefully, more healthfully, and live more prosperously in your prime, in your final years. So it's good to get your sleep and to really think about dedicating a third, basically, of your life to the practice of sleep.
Right, right, Helen. When you are young, especially, you have so many things. You want to live life, you want to see life, see the world, and also achieve a lot. That's
Mhm.
just the beginning. And so, as they say, many people say, burning the midnight oil to achieve something. And that is where you also lose on your sleep part. How
Mhm.
would you like to explain to people who want to achieve a lot of things in life, achieve a lot of goals that they have set for themselves, and lose sleep in that process? How do you
Ye
like to say, get that sleep part into their life, so that they wake up to the reality and the power of sleep, and actually do not lose sleep in their life? What would you like to say, that it's important to achieve goals? Why is it important to achieve goals, especially when you are young?
Yeah, so sleep is really very cool. It actually gives you so much. So it's helping your body, grow. It's helping your brain cleanse. So like the process of thinking and making your body work accumulates toxins in your brain, and it's only when you get a certain type of sleep deep in your sleep cycle that those toxins can be cleared out and go to the liver to be processed. So it is it is not good for your brain to function with all of that toxicity sitting inside of it. It doesn't have a chance to grow more connections. So it does a lot of that long-term growth. So you learn something and it shoves it all into short-term memory. Your brain kind of puts it into short-term memory. And it's not until you sleep that your brain is actually bringing that stuff over and filing it into long-term memory. So if you're burning the midnight oil trying to cram for an exam or trying to get something done that you're going to want to remember later, you're not helping yourself. You're actually making it significantly harder for that information to stay inside your brain. So I would say to folks who want to get a lot done that you'll be more productive and more efficient if you focus on one thing at a time and if you make room for your 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night.
Right, right, Helen. Let's look at it this way. A lot of people have sleep issues because of
Mhm.
medical reasons, but they don't know about it. And a lot of people have sleep issues because of their own creation, because of the life that they are living. So, how should they look at this, uh, taking care of the sleep part? How do they know that, okay, this is a problem that I have created, so I can solve it? And then there is a time when when the sleep is a medical issue, that you need to visit a doctor.
Yeah.
What are the things that one can do to first see, that this is something I can do it myself, or they should they go to a doctor straight away? How should they look at it? How do you see it?
Yeah, so I'm not a clinical professional, but I will say that if you know that you're getting up out of bed frequently, whether it's to walk around or use the restroom, um, and you're doing that 2 to 3 times a night, 3 or more times a week, that's something to talk to your doctor about. If you are sleeping for long periods of time and still feeling exhausted, you got to talk to your doctor about that. That could be a problem with your oxygen levels, and it could be a sleep apnea issue. Um,
Right.
I don't know how it is all over the world, but I do know that here in the United States, a lot of dental practitioners, so dentists who see their patients twice a year, are also sleep specialists or have some certifications. And so a lot of times they're looking for structural issues in the sinuses so they can help you. Your dental and your medical professionals can help you. Anytime that you're having a concern, it's a good thing to talk to doctors and see if they can rule out a physical cause, because it's a lot easier to figure out the physical cause. If it's not that, then you can start going, okay, what do I have to do? Am I sleeping with my cell phone next to me? Am I looking at it in bed for 2 hours before I go to sleep? Am I working too hard? Am I just not honoring the window of time that I need? Am I only giving myself 4 hours to sleep? Um, do I have bad habits that I'm adhering to on a regular basis before I go to bed? Um, the more that you can do to have a quieting and calming routine right before bedtime and to really try to honor and hold that 7 to 9 hours, and everyone's different. Some people really only need 6 hours, some people need 10, but generally speaking, that 7 to 9 hour window on a daily basis every night, and try to, if you can, make it the same time to time, right? Like same start, same stop, because your circadian rhythms then start to know that they start to align themselves so that you're more likely to fall asleep. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do on the medical side and working with medical professionals, but then personally, you have to look at what you're doing and what your habits are in the last, 4 hours before you go to bed, and then start thinking about, if you're on screens, it's possible that that's bothering you. Sometimes it's fine to be on screens, but maybe not watching scary movies. Maybe not doing something that's gonna, like, action films, like, maybe that last thing that you look at in the evening should be a nature film or something educational. News shows, oftentimes a lot of people struggle, they will watch the news late at night because there's a late night news show, that's broadcast, and that can cause a lot of stress and anxiety. It's more and more built to do that because that's what gets a lot of attention and a lot of viewership. Um, and that can be harmful. So sometimes think about when you consume your news and if you can consume your news in the morning and not at night. Similarly, when you hydrate, do you hydrate in the morning or do you hydrate at night? If you're waking up to use the restroom and you can shift hydrating to earlier in the day, you're going to save yourself for better sleep. You're going to set yourself up for better sleep at night. So those are the things that you can look out for yourself. Like when you know it's you can look at your habits and your thoughts and your ideas. And then if you're having trouble changing those habits, or if you're still having issues, you need to see a professional medical specialist, or sometimes your dentist can help you.
Absolutely, Helen. Absolutely. I'm a bit intrigued by the word called, sleep uh, enthusiast. Why do you call yourself a sleep enthusiast? And also, help us understand. You are the founder and host of the Sleepless podcast. Help us understand what is that podcast about, so that people learn more about sleep from you in those podcasts. This is just one episode. There you will be having many podcasts.
Yeah, I call myself a sleep enthusiast because, like I said, I think that sleep is a huge part of wellness. And, some people are fitness enthusiasts, and I like to work out. And some people are, food enthusiasts, and I am definitely a food enthusiast. But I'm also a sleep enthusiast. I now try to find joy in going to sleep, knowing that I'm getting good sleep, feeling good when I wake up, not being tired when I wake up. I've eliminated, I've restructured a lot of my life so that I have a good window of time every night to go to sleep. And I try to be very careful to continually honor that so that I don't stray too far in one direction or another and start falling back into bad habits that made it very difficult for me to function. So that's why I
Right.
call myself a sleep enthusiast, because it's just as cool as being a food enthusiast. It's just as cool as being a fitness enthusiast. It's just not social. Sleep is sort of more your personal introverted time, but I'm very much an enthusiast of sleep. Um, and the podcast kind of is trying to help other people get there too and enjoy their journey to sleep. For some people, it can be very anxiety producing. They're like, oh, they know they have to sleep. They know how important it is to sleep, and yet their brain's not shutting off. So my podcast Sleep List is all about helping people quiet their minds. The idea is that you listen to it with a Bluetooth speaker or maybe sleep headphones. They make a sleep band headphone. And you just listen to my voice, welcome you, let you know it's time to go to sleep, and then I start a list and I will recite 50 to 1,000 items of the same category. So maybe it's breeds of sheep, maybe it is shades of beige paint. The last one that I did was cookbooks. So I just come up with a list and then I recite it, and then I wish people well as they fall to sleep. And I have very good feedback about that, so that people are using it and using it over and over again, and it's making it easier for them and more pleasurable for them to get to sleep.
Right, right. There is much to learn about sleep, actually, and the biggest thing is to learn about one's own habits and see how it is impacting their sleep. So, for those people who would want to, learn more about you, more about sleep through you, more about your podcast, more about sleeplist.com, what is the best way for them to do so, Helen?
Yeah, I have a website set up that is sleeplist.com, like you said, and it is the easiest way to find out a lot of different things. I have episodes there. I also have resources beyond my own podcast episodes. I have a set of resources there to help you and your listeners find out more about why sleep is so valuable, get tools to help them figure out their own sleep issues, and I even have a how-to guide on setting up your phone so that you can not be interrupted in the middle of the night, but still have your phone next to your bedside.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much, AJ. I really appreciate it.